All right, so are you ready to like get transported somewhere completely different?
Yeah.
Because today we're going deep into village life in Gilgit Baltistan.
Ooh, okay, I love it.
It's in Pakistan,
Sure.
and we've got this amazing piece of writing in Urdu as our like guide for this whole journey.
Awesome.
And lucky for you, I can totally handle the translation.
Great.
So we can like explore all the fascinating details in English together.
Sounds fun.
Right. It's always so cool to like kind of peek into a culture that's like so different from our own.
I know, I totally agree.
And this deep dive is going to give us this like glimpse into this unique way of life in the villages of Gilgit Baltistan.
I'm excited.
So where do we even begin with a place like this?
Well, first of all, Gilgit Baltistan, it's not just one like single culture, you know? It's more like this amazing tapestry of so many different traditions and languages all woven together against this backdrop of like these crazy beautiful mountains.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's right. I remember reading about that. And it's not just a couple of languages either, right?
No, not at all. You've got Shina, Balti, Brushaski, Wakyu. These are like the four main languages. And then on top of that, you've got all these like dialects and variations.
Whoa. So like imagine the stories, the songs, the poems. Like do they all like hit the same way in every language?
It's mind-blowing, right? Like each language carries its own history, its own unique perspective on the world. I mean, think about it. Burushaski, for example, there's no clear connection to any other language family.
No way.
Yeah, it's a linguistic isolate, meaning it's like this ancient echo from way back when.
That is so cool. So like imagine sitting around a fire, right? And hearing like a folk tale or a love poem in Burushaski. Like, wouldn't it feel like this totally different experience?
Totally. Like you're tapping into this ancient way of seeing things.
Yeah, exactly. And that like sense of history, like you said, it seems like it's like infused in everything there, right? Like even their music.
Oh, absolutely. Music is huge in Gilgit Baltistan, and it's not just for entertainment. It's like woven into the fabric of their lives.
Yeah, the writing mentioned this instrument called the rhubarb.
Oh, yeah, the rhubarb. It's like this stringed instrument, kind of like a lute.
And it's central to their traditional music, but it's not like a happy-go-lucky kind of sound, right?
Right. It's more like, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of mournful, but also hopeful at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it perfectly captures the feeling of living in these valleys.
Yeah. Tough life, breathtaking beauty. It's all there in the music.
And then to like bring up the energy, they have the dole.
Right. Yeah, the dull. Those are the drums.
So like for celebrations and festivals?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I was reading about this one festival called the Ganani. It's their harvest festival.
Okay, so like lots of cultures celebrate harvests, right?
Yeah.
But what makes this one unique?
Well, for one thing, it's connected to this ancient belief system that predates Islam. They believe in appeasing the spirits of the land.
Oh, wow. So it's
Yep.
like they're not just celebrating the harvest, they're like thanking the mountains themselves for providing.
Exactly. It adds this whole other layer of meaning to it.
It's way more than just like a Thanksgiving dinner or something, right?
Right. It's like a deep spiritual connection to the land.
So cool. And, I've seen pictures of these festivals and the clothing is just amazing.
Oh, yeah. Their traditional attire is incredible.
Like, tell me about it. What are some of the key pieces?
Well, one of the most iconic pieces is the choga. It's this thick woolen coat that's essential for staying warm in the mountains. But it's not just practical. It's often adorned with these intricate embroideries.
Oh, wow. So it's like wearable art.
Exactly. And the women have their own unique outfits, too. These colorful dresses and shawls with beautiful embroidery.
You really get the sense that every piece of clothing has a purpose, a meaning beyond just fashion.
Oh, for sure. It's all about identity and tradition.
Okay, so we've talked about language, music, festivals, clothing. What about the food? What do people in these villages eat?
Well, their cuisine is really interesting. It's very much dictated by the environment and their lifestyle. So you'll find a lot of hearty dishes that are meant to fuel you up for a day of working in the fields.
Like what?
Well, one example is chapshoro. It's this bread that's filled with meat and spices, and it's like a meal in itself.
Sounds delicious. And I bet it keeps you going all day.
Right. And then there's belay, which is a type of noodle made from locally grown grains.
I was reading that each village might have its own little twist on belay.
Yeah.
Like they might use different herbs or spices.
Yeah, exactly. It's like hyper-local cuisine.
You get a taste of that specific place and its traditions.
Absolutely. And that connection to the land extends to their crafts, too.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that.
Well, they're incredibly skilled at working with natural materials. Like they use wool from their sheep to make clothes and blankets, and they use wood from the surrounding forests to build houses and furniture.
I was reading about these incredible wooden balconies that they build on some of their houses.
Oh yeah, those are beautiful. They're not just functional, but also incredibly ornate.
It makes you wonder, like, did they have designated wood carvers in the village? Or did everyone learn a bit of everything?
I know, right? It's that self-sufficiency that's so impressive.
But they're not completely isolated.
Yeah, of course not. They have strong community ties, and Islam is the dominant religion in the region.
So mosques play a big role in village life.
Absolutely. They're not just places of worship, but also centers for social gatherings and community events.
I bet those mosques are pretty amazing too, like architecturally speaking.
Oh, I'm sure they are. I mean, imagine a mosque nestled in these mountain valleys. It must be a sight to behold.
The source didn't really go into detail about the architecture, but you get this sense of like harmony with nature and with each other.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of harmony, let's not forget about the hospitality.
Oh yeah, their hospitality is legendary, right?
Absolutely. Guests are treated like royalty. They're offered the best seat in the house. They're served tea and traditional foods. It's not just politeness, it's deeply ingrained in their culture.
That's amazing. So, okay, imagine you get to visit one of these villages. What's the first thing you'd want to experience?
Oh man, that's a tough one. There's so much I'd want to see and do.
I know, right? Would you want to like hear the music echoing in the mountains? Maybe try your hand at some embroidery? Or would you just want to like sit down with a local family and experience that famous hospitality firsthand?
Honestly, I think I'd go for the hospitality first, just to like feel that warmth and welcome.
I think I would too. There's something so special about feeling like you belong, even when you're miles away from home.
Yeah, it makes you realize that even though we might live in different parts of the world, we all share these basic human desires.
Like the desire for connection, for beauty, for a life that's rooted in something bigger than ourselves.
Exactly.
And maybe that's the biggest takeaway from all of this. That even in the most remote corners of the world, we can find these universal threads that connect us all.
I think you're right.
So there you have it, folks. A glimpse into the incredible world of Gilgit Baltistan.
Beautiful place, beautiful people.
And until next time, keep exploring.
Keep wearing.
And keep those deep dives going.
Absolutely.